All right, Reg.
Alrighty, well, my name is Reggie Rodriguez, and my topic was prevention of anterior cruciate ligament injury in female athletes. A little bit about the ACL. It's located in the knees. You guys know that it's a hinged joint. Okay, the knee is a hinged joint. It connects the femur with the tibia, and it prevents you from a lot of things, such as your tibia sliding forward, internal rotation. Actually, I experienced that when playing flag football. I didn't play football my entire life until flag football. And because of lack of mechanics and form and knowledge, I made the wrong cut and my femur rotated inwards and I hurt my knee. It prevents from valgus, which is knock knees, also known as knock knees, which is your knees pointing inwards, and hyperextension. A good example for hyperextension would be in football, getting a blow on the front part of your knee and forcing your knee to bend the opposite way. Sorry, leg up now. Okay, now why female athletes? Well, female athletes have a 3 times higher risk of experiencing this type of injury over male athletes because of their growth spurt and maturity. When female athletes reach their puberty, their height and weight increases, but not so much their strength. Okay, that's creating a imbalance, neuromuscular imbalance. Because of this, female athletes tend to use their knee extensors, which is the quadriceps, and instead of using their hip extensors, which is the hamstrings. Also, female athletes have, due to nature and God, they have wider hips to help them out a little bit with birth, so they don't feel that much pain. So they have something that's called Q angle. It's a line that goes from the patella tendon to the outside of your hip. Okay, the wider your hips are, the bigger the Q angle. The bigger the Q angle, the more knock knees you can have in your performance. I'm a personal trainer at the YMCA, and every time I'm there and I'm bored, all I do is pay attention to the people training and stuff. And I've really, the past month, I've been paying attention to the knees. And it's crazy because 9 out of 10 females that get on the elliptical, which is just going up and down, their knees are going inwards instead of just up and down. And sometimes I go fix it, and sometimes I don't. As a personal trainer, you have to know who's going to listen to you and who's not going to listen to you. But that's just something females have to look at. Mechanism of injury. Okay? Most ACL injuries are non-contact injuries. They are cutting, decelerating, accelerating, landing from a jump, on the jump. So it's just different ways of non-contact injuries in football, basketball, soccer, softball, crazy, but yeah. Due to this, they create neuromuscular imbalance. Some of these are ligament dominance, muscular dominance, also known as quadricep dominance, and leg dominance. These imbalances put more effort on the ACL, trying to make up for the non-dominant leg. Okay. On the top left, we have a female jumping and landing, of course, and hurting herself, injuring herself. The reason for this is because of lack of mechanics. I mean, I wasn't there, it's just a picture and drawn, but from me looking at it, I can see that her mechanics, it's way wrong. First off, she's landing in one foot. Second off, she's too high, and her knee just went inwards. That's because she's ligament dominant in that case. Okay. On the right, we have a picture of a medial collateral ligament tear. And when the MCL ligament tears, most likely the ACL also tears with it. This happens cutting, decelerating. Yes, I think. Now this one right here on the example A, we just have a normal anatomical knee. The knee in the anatomical position. On example B, you have the knee. This is the left knee, by the way. receiving the blow from the outside. Okay? And you can see that the meniscus getting getting destroyed pretty much. ACL and MCL extending. If this blows continues to the to the inside part of the knee, the ACL and MCL are just going to tear it in half. Okay. On example C, you have the femur rotating inwards. Okay, and on example D, you have the femur rotating outwards. Okay, what's a ligament dominance? Ligament dominance is when the athlete doesn't know how to control their muscles. So when they're doing any type of movement, they're doing it all with the knee instead of learning how to contract the muscle. It's a neuromuscular. It's when the neuromuscular control and the ligament control is not on the same page. Okay? How to identify this as a coach, strength and conditioning, PE teacher, or any type of coaches? You can have the drop box test, which is getting the athlete to stand up lower than this, a box, and just letting himself or herself drop, and watching her landing. Sorry, let me do it this way. If the knees go inwards, it's a positive sign of ligament dominance. Now, if it's straight, they're using their muscles, which that's what you want. Okay. What is muscular dominance? Quadricep dominance. It's when the quadricep is stronger than the hamstring. Okay, when the knee extensors are stronger than the hip extensors. Females do this a lot. Okay, to identify this, you can use a leg curl machine or a leg extension machine, and you will observe if they can lift more on leg extension than leg curl, it's a positive sign of them being quadricep dominant. Okay, so that's something you want to look at.
Do you know why that is?
What?
Do you know why females are stronger with their quads than their hamstrings?
Yes, because they start with ligament dominance, and then they go to quadricep dominance. And the reason why is because it's easier. They don't have the proper technique to do it. So they go. I'm gonna explain it physically. Okay, they rather on a squat, for example, they would do the squat this way, and that's nothing but knee extensors. Now, if they include their hips on it, I'm going back, my knees are going outward, and I'm going straight down on the squat position. That's using that's putting the force on the knee extensors and the hip extensors. Females tend to just put it all in the knee extensors. Right.
Thank you, that makes a lot more sense.
For leg dominance, this is something you can see with your straight eye, clean eye. If you look at the athlete and you can see that one leg is bigger than the other, they have a dominant leg. Okay? This is when one leg is stronger than the other. How to test this? You can do the same thing as the quadricep dominance. Use the leg extension and the leg curl machine. And if they can lift heavier with one leg than the other, then they have a dominant leg. Okay, how to prevent ligament dominance? Easy. When you do the test and you do the training, the exercises, the wall jumps, tuck jumps, broad jumps, any of those exercises, you want to make sure that they're focusing on the dynamic knee motion. Okay, that way they're focusing on contracting their muscles over their hips. Over their ligaments. Sorry. Okay, so the key is to always focus on contracting their muscles before anything else. So landing from a jump, you want to make sure that as soon as they touch the ground, they're already contracting their muscles. That way they wait and the force doesn't go in the ligaments. Tips, if you're the coach or any type of mentor, you want to make sure you give feedback. Positive feedback, negative feedback, it doesn't matter. Positive feedback, you teach the athlete to do it right. Negative feedback, you teach the athletes what not to do. So they're still learning. Okay, how to prevent muscle dominance. just like I mentioned, focus on the co-contraction of the hip flexors and knee flexors, knee extensors and hip extensors. Exercises are squat jumps with deep knee flexion and hamstring curl. Okay. Quadricep dominance. Of course, the quadricep is stronger than the hamstring. The reason why you want to focus on the deep part of the landing is because the lower you are, the right way, if you do it the right way, the lower you are, the more effort you're going to put on the hamstring instead of putting all the effort, all the force in your quadricep.
Can you show us?
Like this? Only if you guarantee me that you're going to pay me if I rip my pants.
Really? You're gonna go that low?
That's what you're supposed to do.
Seriously?
Right, so the wrong way will be here. My heels are leaving the ground. My heels are leaving the ground this way.
Don't force it. If you
Okay?
feel it.
The right way would be staying your heels
Okay.
and staying straight up.
Got it.
Because see how my knees are not passing my toes?
Yep.
So
Okay. So just the knee over the toe ratio,
Yes.
right?
Just the knee. If you only use your knee extensors, your quadricep, you're pulling everything forward. Now, if you use
So
your
the knee
hips,
will go
you're-
over the toe.
yes.
And it'll be
So if
obvious.
you're pulling
Okay.
with your hips, that's when you go back.
Got it. Got it.
Okay. For leg dominant, well, one leg is stronger than the other, so obviously work on the weak leg. But you just don't want to work on the weak leg and stop working with the strong leg. Okay, so you can stick with leg extension and leg curl, focusing on doing the same weight, the same reps evenly. Some exercises are tuck jump, X hop, single leg balance, bounding, jump, 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 vertical jump. So that's what it says, jump, 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 vertical jump. Also, I found that core stability and plyometric training is very helpful for the knee. Okay, think about it. The core is in the middle, right? So the stronger your abdominal muscles are, your lumbar muscles are, the more control you're going to have of your lower limbs. Okay, so some exercises for the core. Not any type of abs for the back could be Superman, could be leg raises, could be back extension, any of those exercises. The muscle, this type of muscles, the abdominal muscles and the lumbar muscles, they connect with the hip extensors, hip external rotation, and hip abductor. Those are the muscles that are going to help you to push your knees out and use more of your hips than your knee extensors. Okay, and for plyometric training is super beneficial because it applies actual game-like movements when you do it. Okay, like plyos, for example, like side-to-side single leg jumps, right? And then on the opposite. And football, how much do you have to set? So that's an exercise that you're gonna apply in your performance in the game. So that's why plyo is so beneficial. That you can work on single limbs, double limbs, exercises to strengthen everything. Okay, the importance from my career, this was very helpful. I still don't know what I want to do. Strength and conditioning, baseball coach, personal trainer. I still don't know what I want to do, but this was really helpful because as a coach, I'm going to be giving my athletes exercises that if I don't have the knowledge to prevent injuries, I'm just throwing them out there and risking their future. So this was very helpful. I mean, almost all sport, they have to land, they have to jump, they have to cut, they have to accelerate. So this research was very helpful for me and for my future, whatever it is. That's it. Any questions? Floor's open. Yes, sir.
You talk a lot about how the knees going in. Well, problem on squat is the knees going out ever a problem? Or is there like any negatives that can come with the knees going out too far?
Yes, there is. Now you don't.
You don't have to squat for it.
I won't even because I hurt my pants when I went down.
Oh, really?
But think about it. How do frogs jump? Their feet almost touch the knee when they're jumping, right? It's pretty much in a straight line. The reason why they tell you to open up is to prevent you to inner rotate. So if you open up and your knee goes inward, it's still straight. It's still kind of even. You know what I mean? But if you're straight like this and you can go down in a straight line, it's still good. It's just to exaggerate to prevent it from happening. You know, but if your knees are straight up to the side, that could injure your knees also.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Go back to your knee valgus. What type of exercises would you do to strengthen your hips and stuff like that?
Abductors,
Yeah.
glutes,
Alright.
leg extension with your toes pointing out.
Okay, besides the muscles, do you think it's more of a, you have to retrain the nervous system to do that too? Would you say that you have to retrain the nervous system even though you are strengthening the adductors?
Yeah, well, personally, I think that the nervous system comes from the brain. And how can you put your nervous system into your performance is by working on your mechanics. By making that exercise the muscle memory, that way you can take it to your performance without. Does that kind of help? Any other questions? Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Good job, Rich.